Hello, welcome to Blue Butterfly Podfics. I'm Belle. I hope you enjoy, drink water, and take breaks as you need. This is The Day That Izuku Midoriya Broke Shinso by Just Willow on AO3. Let's get into it. There were 3 things Shinso thought he knew when coming into UA. Emphasis on the thought. The first thing was that he wasn't here to make friends. He stands by that. All his life, he had grown up lonely. He didn't need to change that now. He didn't need dead weight holding him back, because that's what friends were. Second thing was that heroes and hero students with flashy quirks were the worst. He still stands by that, too. He had seen plenty of people growing up that had these perfect and powerful quirks. They were praised and hailed to be the next #1 hero. It left those with quirks that had to be utilized in different ways in the dust. They never got praise. And lastly, he refused to find a boyfriend of any sorts. He still stood by that. His parents were thrilled when he had gotten into UA and had tried to push him to make friends, to make relationships, subtly dropping hints about finding someone. It didn't matter to Shinso. Love could come later, or never. All that mattered to Shinso was becoming a hero and holding his middle finger high at the society that beat and bullied him, telling him he could never amount to being a hero with a quirk such as his. He would show them. It should also be known that Shinso's will to stand by these 3 points was holding on by a thin fucking thread. Metaphorically speaking, that is. So, metaphorically speaking, there was someone standing with a pair of scissors ready to snip that thread at any second. Who may that person be? Midoriya Izuku, the boy who Shinso had tried to hate. Tried. It was like the boy was sunshine itself, and Shinso had to shield himself from it to stop himself from being blinded. The thing with Midoriya was that he stood against all 3 points of his. The points that Shinso had sworn to stand by. Midoriya had claimed he wanted to be friends, yet Shinso refused this outright. Did that stop him? No. Midoriya continued to try and befriend him. He made an effort to talk to him at lunch, made an effort to seek him out to see if he wanted to study or to train. He offered to give him quirk advice, asked him if he wanted to hang out and do whatever friends did together. It infuriated Shinso. But he couldn't say no. He couldn't say no. So according to Midoriya, they were friends. Midoriya also had a flashy quirk. Quite literally. Shinso had seen him at the sports festival, and had seen the destructive power that the power Midoriya wielded. Yet, it broke Midoriya's body as much as it broke the surrounding area. How could that be allowed onto the hero course, but he couldn't? Just another reason to hate flashy quirks. It was added to the mental list that Shinso kept. He was up to number 37 now on the list. Now, the 3rd point hadn't come till much later. It had taken a lot longer for Shinso to join the heroics course. There was a lot of paperwork and behind-the-scenes stuff that needed to be figured out, as well as getting him up to par with the other heroic students. Shinso had trained hard and grueling hours, beating himself black and blue till he felt like he could take on the world. It had helped that Aizawa had decided to take him under his wing, even if it was a miracle. Shinso questioned every training session whether the man was secretly the devil in disguise. After a year-long wait, Shinso was finally ready to join them, to join 1A where he rightfully belonged. This was the next step on his journey to becoming a hero, as well as being able to yell "fuck you" at his old classmates. Aizawa had given him the location of the first group training session and told him to join them in their costumes after the meeting with Netsu. Shinso had been excited, but also nervous. No matter how much of a wall Shinso could put up to block out the bullying that he got for his quirk, it didn't block everything. Shinso still felt anxious at times, still felt inadequate. He hid it well behind his starky and deadpan ways, but it was still there, lingering under his skin, writhing around. Shinso breathed. No point worrying now. He was here, and he was going to stay. Shoving the door open, a waft of cold, air-conditioned air hit him. This training room was one of the empty ones, apart from a few benches around the edge for people to sit. This was mainly used for spars. Shinso wasn't sure what to expect when entering Class 1A's training session, but it wasn't this. There were shouts, yells, and screaming coming from students who were sitting on the benches. Some were standing, others were sitting, but waving their fists in a cheer. They were all watching the spars with hungry expressions. They were like animals. With a loud crack of thunder in the air, Shinso's eyes widened. He hadn't realized who was fighting till now. Standing in the middle of the room was Midoriya, decked out in his hero costume, with a lazy smile on his face as he circled his opponent. Shinso was pretty sure it was Kirishima. Shinso felt his body freeze. Even though there was a lazy smile on Midoriya's face, there was a look of pure power in his eyes. But there was also something else, something akin to hunger. There was no doubting it. Midoriya was like a predator hunting its prey. Shinso gulped, his mouth suddenly dry. Was it hot in here? The thing is, Shinso was not blind. He may be a lot of things, such as an ass, a sarcastic dick, and slightly emotionally inept, but blind was not one of them. So yeah, he noticed the way Midoriya looked on a daily basis. He noticed how Midoriya had these green curls that bounced when he spoke and got too excited. He noticed how Midoriya's hair glinted like an emerald if the light hit it just right. He noticed how cute the freckles were across his cheeks and how they stood out more when Midoriya was flushed pink. He noticed how green Midoriya's eyes were, how they shone with brightness and sparkled like some damn anime. Yeah, Shinso noticed. How could he not? Didn't mean he found him attractive. But seeing Midoriya here, outside of wearing his school uniform or casual clothes, in his hero costume that seemed to hug him in all the right places, was doing something to him. When did Midoriya become so muscular and lean? Where did he hide that body? Was Shinso developing a hero costume kink? No. A loud crack of thunder came again as Midoriya powered up his quirk. Flashes of green lightning encircling his body. Shinso couldn't tear his eyes away. There was something so raw about the power Midoriya wielded. Something raw and hot. Hot? No. Shinso meant raw and strong. Yeah, strong. The excitement in the class's voices was filling the air. Shinso even felt his own blood pumping at the thought of watching Midoriya. No, watching them. Them. Definitely them. Shinso didn't think Midoriya moved that fast, but suddenly, Kirishima was holding his arms up and taking a blow from him. The air rushed around Shinso, his eyes wide. This was Class 1A? No wonder he had taken longer to catch up. Kirishima managed to stay standing and launched into a counterattack. Shinso couldn't keep up with it. They were attacking, defending, and dodging each other's attacks. It looked like a fair fight. But Shinso couldn't get rid of this feeling, a feeling that was creeping up his spine that Midoriya was just toying with Kirishima. It wasn't until Midoriya had done a move that Shinso had seen Aizawa do plenty of times to himself when they were training that he realized that Midoriya was, in fact, just toying with him. Midoriya had gotten his thighs around Kirishima and dragged him down to the floor, pinning him with a grin. God, what Shinso wouldn't do to be in that position. What? Where did that come from? Shinso didn't want to be pinned beneath Midoriya and his huge thighs. No, he didn't want to feel the man on top of him, feeling that power. Nope, absolutely not. It didn't matter that his palms had become sweaty, or that his heart was racing, or that he was breathing a little faster at the thought. His face wasn't flushed. It wasn't. Impressive, isn't it? Shinso flinched. He hadn't noticed the familiar, hunched-over figure of Aizawa leaning against the wall, watching the fight with a smirk on his face. Midoriya is an untapped well of pure power, and he's barely grazed the surface of what his quirk can do. Yeah, Shinso stuttered. He coughed to clear his throat. Yeah, I guess he's impressive. You look a little flushed, Shinso. Aizawa had a teasing lilt to his voice. Shinso glared at the man, trying not to let the embarrassment rise. He had just been caught staring and getting worked up, looking at Midoriya. Everything all right? I'm fine, Shinso gritted out, turning away and ignoring the way Aizawa's shoulders shook with silent laughter. Midoriya was helping Kirishima up, both of them laughing. The rest of the class were filtering over, congratulating Midoriya and telling Kirishima he did well. Shinso couldn't take his eyes off of Midoriya, which meant that Midoriya soon spotted him, his smile getting brighter. Shinso, Midoriya yelled. You made it. Are you here to join us? I'm so happy. Happy? Midoriya was happy to have him here? Did Shinso's heart just stutter? What was this feeling? Why did he suddenly feel warm and fuzzy? Why did he like it? There were 3 things that Shinso thought he knew when coming to UA. Those 3 things were promptly destroyed by Midoriya Izuku. Shinso was fucked. Okay, well, that's the end of the day that Midoriya Izuku broke Shinso Hitoshi by Just Willow. Thank you for listening. If you have time, go and visit AO3 and leave a kudos for Just Willow. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day or night. Goodbye, my butterflies.